Hey guys, Scott here. So you're looking for a film point and shoot camera, 35 millimeter, something that can give you pretty good bokeh and subject separation. You don't want to break the bank. You want a camera that's sort of easy to use, easy to carry with you, something you could hand to a friend and get a picture without having to explain controls. Something that just becomes a fun part of your life that lives in your pocket. Well, I think I got a camera for you, so we're going to talk about it today. Let's get into it. This is the Yashica T4 Super D Weatherproof, my favorite point and shoot 35 millimeter film camera. The Yashica T4 Super D. Let's take a tour. So on the front, you've got this little plastic lens protector that will close when you power the camera off. Got a meter, got a flash, power switch, not much to it. On the back, you have where you would set the time if you cared about that for time stamping your photos. You got a mode button you will never use, and you got a film stock window. On the top, things get more interesting. You got this flash button. You've got your self timer, and you actually have a hip finder. They call it a super scope. It's kind of hard to use, and I don't use it very often. A lot of times this camera is not even in my hands. It's in the hands of my family. They tend to steal it because they like the ease of use, and I like what they get out of it. My son in particular loves the camera. One little bugaboo is that when you boot the camera up, the flash is enabled by default, and it takes a couple of button presses to disable it. If you're trying to grab a picture of something cool happening, but you're trying to be discreet, and you forget to push that button a few times, you're going to blast your subject with unexpected flash. The close focus always shocks me at how good it is and how nice the depth of field is, even for a 3.5 lens. This is one aspect of the camera I kind of forget to use, and when I do, I really enjoy it. Given that it can focus fairly close, you can actually get away with selfies without even seeing your arm. It almost looks like someone was right up in your face taking your photo. Very handy in a pinch. So apart from the simplicity of the camera, the ability to hand it to friends and family and have them come back with great shots, the killer feature of this camera is simply its size. It will even fit into jean pockets. Coat pockets are a cinch. Taking this camera with you, having it be a part of your life is super easy, super convenient, and just sort of blends in with your activities. One thing to note about this camera, it has a very squishy shutter button. The half stop for focusing is almost impossible to feel, at least on mine. This is the only one I've ever shot. Maybe others are better. This one was already pretty used when I came across it, but I'm still firing photos accidentally, just trying to focus and pressing just a little bit too far and taking the photo. Some happy accidents. Sometimes they're focused and you didn't think they would be, which is great. Sometimes the shot's ruined, and that sucks when you're on a 24 shot roll of film. Something to be aware of when you're going into this camera is that patience tends to be key. It's center focus only, and it's metering in that center area. If you've got a face in that area, it does a really good job of metering that face, but you just have to be really careful with the shutter button. Another great feature is the battery is really easy to come by. I bought a 6-pack on Amazon 2 years ago, and I have not even used half of those yet. I'm always carrying spares with me, thinking I'm going to need them, and I never do. It's great. Anyways, enough talking about the camera. You want to see some samples from it, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to shut up. We're going to roll the samples. Some were taken by me. Some were taken by my wife. Some were taken by my son. Some were taken by other people altogether. That's the fun nature of this camera, is the ability to share it with other people as you're sharing a moment, capturing that moment. hope you guys enjoyed the sample gallery. One thing to remember with these cameras, they do tend to have a finite shelf life. This is a camera that was made 15 plus years ago. The general rule of thumb tends to be about 25 years of use before electronics in these start to fail. And once they fail in this camera is a brick. You're not repairing it. I bought this one in an estate sale for $400. I think that's great money spent for the amount of times we've taken it out. I've handed it off, gotten great B shots from my family. That's way cheaper than a digital camera would have been. And having film versus digital shots just lends something else to it that I think is really hard to replicate. It's just a fun thing to have around, and that's what I like to spend money on. It's just fun things. It doesn't have to be the best, it doesn't have to be the fastest, but if it brings me joy, that's money well spent. So I'm going to continue to use my little Yashi until the day it dies. I hope that's not anytime soon. Hopefully this video is not a jinx, and if it dies, it dies, and we'll move on with life. But until then, I'm really enjoying the results I'm getting out of this little guy. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, give it a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel, but if you don't, no big deal. Hope everybody had a very happy holiday season. We will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.